Hello, Mr. Megabucks, and thank you so much for coming to our presentation and welcome. Today we will discuss our single plan for library improvement. I'm Paula, and with me are my colleagues Petra, Angela, and Stacy. We know that we have a lot of ground to cover, but through it all we want to remember our mission: to enrich the lives of our community by empowering everyone with a free space to discover, create, and share ideas and information. And now, please welcome my colleague, Petra.
Thank you, Paula. As you noted, Mr. Megabucks, people walked into our library and quickly would leave. Our facilities arrangement did not allow for them to find specific information on resources. You were correct. We have a lack of inventory and organization, which leads to a lack of community and a lack of service. Some of our patrons were severely underserved because of language barriers. Mr. Megabucks, we have ways to work around this and fix things. One thing is we have signage for our non-English speaking patrons in English and in Spanish. Not to mention, the 21st Century Library is more than just books and manuscripts. In the place of community and sharing of information and interest, Mr. Megabucks, we want our library to be a place where people say, let's meet at the library. Let's meet at the library to create podcasts using a soundboard. Let's meet at the library to partner with first responders and other community leaders. Let's meet at the library for games and playing, because all those things build community and information sharing. Sewing and other crafts is community building and creating. And of course, there's actual reading. A 21st century library is a library where people meet to share hobbies and interests like gardening. Thus, the library has a lending aspect to it of not just books, but gardening equipment, home fix-it tools, and musical instruments, just to name a few. We have maker spaces where we have robotics, we have coding, we have science lab and tutoring, we have information sharing on a multitude of levels. Mr. Megabucks, we meet at the library. Now we can easily find books and resources. Our people do not get lost, they do not leave. We have gentrification for ease of use. So when we meet at the library, we have you to thank for partnering with us because we are a serving library. Your generosity would be $1,500 for signage and spines, outsource of staff that we can reconfigure our library, especially with gentrification. That brings us to a total of $17,000 and $17,500. Thank you.
Thank you, Petra. Mr. Megabucks, you've reported that patrons want to access the local history images, but that section of the library is closed and the images have not been digitized. So why should the library digitize its local history collection? Digital files can provide extraordinary access to information that patrons otherwise would not have access to. Digitization is useful in preserving precious materials. Making high-quality digital images available electronically will reduce wear and tear of fragile items. And finally, with digital library resources, the members of the library can come together online to engage with their local history. Why outsource digitization? For one, there's a set cost. Cost of outsourcing is less expensive than purchasing all the necessary equipment and staff required to digitize in-house, and there's a known price that is set up front when the library contracts with the vendor. Expertise. There's no need to hire experts or train current library staff because you can rely on the specialization of the company. limited risk. There's a contract and it must be fulfilled by the vendor. There's a broad range of options and services provided by the vendor, and all of this adds up to a lot of saved time and saved money. So what is being outsourced? Material preparation, such as flattening and cleaning, and the digitization processing, including metadata services and digital access systems. What is not being outsourced? Because of the scale of the current collection and the likelihood of the collection growing, the library would require a new staff member who's qualified to maintain the digital collection, as well as digital access through the library's online public access catalog. In order to accomplish our goal to build a rich collection, both print and digital, for learning, creation, and discovery, we're requesting a funding of $395,000 for the digital collection.
Thank you, Angela. So let's talk about our online public access catalog, or our OPAC. Your feedback shared with us that there were some concerns about how our community will interact with our collection. So we immediately began a stakeholder survey, and we talked with our patrons and we talked with our staff. We asked them, what are you looking for with your OPAC? And we had one common theme: integration. Whether we talked with our patrons or our staff, they wanted one place to go. Patrons said with a single logon, they want to be able to explore all of our collections. They want to be able to see those digital as well as the print resources, the databases, and the archives. And they wanted to ensure that our OPAC was accessible to all of our community. Our staff agreed that integration into a single tool was important for their ability to use and support our OPAC. They wanted a tool that would allow us to easily purchase new materials and integrate them into the system. And we wanted support for the implementation of this new OPAC, as well as ongoing support for its use. With these ideas in mind, we recommend that we purchase an investment in the EBSCO Folio tool. Why EBSCO? It is fully integrated, being able to support not only print resources, but databases and our new digital collection. It is fully supported with a strong staff of over 1,200 EBSCO employees to be able to help us support not only the implementation and the transition from our current OPAC to EBSCO, but its ongoing use. And it is fully secure. So neither our staff nor our patrons will need to worry about their personal information being accessed or for sale by any outside organizations. Your investment with EBSCO Folio will allow us the open source flexibility and agility to be able to transition to new technologies and services, as well as access to high quality award-winning databases, including the Point of View Reference Center, as well as Referencia Latina, and a vocational and career collection. And we can't forget the importance of health and mental health awareness through the Medline database. Your investment of $20,000 for the first 3 years will help us make this transition to a more robust OPAC. Remember, it doesn't matter how wonderfully strong your collection is if no one can search it. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Now on to the issue of collections. Based on your report, Mr. Megabucks, we have now been made fully aware of our serious shortcomings in serving our Spanish-speaking community. In order to invite these potential patrons into our library and offer them useful and relevant services, we are asking for your help to build a Spanish collection from the ground up. We considered many options, including outsourcing the creation of the collection, but thought the best option would be to have our own dedicated permanent addition to the staff. A person who would understand the community, be embedded, connected to, and invested in it. So we're looking here at not just assembling a collection of first-rate materials, but also maintaining the collection so that it remains sensitive to the particular needs of our Spanish-speaking patrons. What does this look like in budget terms? We're looking at a total of $197,500 for building the Spanish collection. This includes $97,500 for a 3-year investment in this new bilingual staff member, and $100,000 for materials, both print and digital. With this kickstart, we hope to create a robust Spanish language collection. Thank you for your consideration. On to you, Petra.
Thank you again, Paula. Teen room. Based on the expressed needs of our younger patrons, they want their own space. They want their own teen room that's filled with color, that's filled with games, places where they can interact. So in order to do that, we have decided to make a teen space that has sofas for comfort, that has support of tables and chairs that promote community, and that has a situation where they are sharing information based on community, supported by one another, and indeed supported by the library. We're looking for your support, Mr. Megabucks, and that's only at a meager total of $15,000. Back to you, Stacy.
Thank you, Petra. And now, as you identified in your report, Mr. Megabucks, we have patrons unable to eat or drink in our library, thus feeling unwelcome. We want patrons to feel that the library is truly for them, that they own this space. So we are proposing a simple and elegant solution to the food and drink crisis at the library. Build a courtyard kiosk coffee bar, which will serve light refreshments. It will use already existing space, repurposing it for both beauty and utility. It will be conducive to that community hub feel that we want for our library, increasing patron satisfaction and library reputation. And it will eventually be self-sustaining as we make profit to add to our enterprise fund. So what does this look like budget-wise? We're looking at $40,000 for the kiosk setup, which would include equipment, licensing, and inventory, and $75,000 for a 3-year investment in a new staff member to run the cafe, for a total of $115,000 to set up our courtyard cafe. For your consideration, this simple and elegant solution to the food and drink problem at PAPAS Community Library. Thank you. And now, moving on to the next issue, programming. Mr. Megabucks, you have identified our lack of programming. For years, we have struggled with shortage of resources and staff. But I believe that with your support, we can add the following to provide a holistic plan of service to the community. First, we're asking for a new staff position at the library, which will coordinate a triple whammy of programming categories. Our goal is to have children's programming, cultural enrichment programming, and community services programming. So what will this look like? We want robust offerings for our children so they can excel in their studies and life skills and be invested in our library into the future. We propose that our new programming librarian organize scavenger hunts, which will dovetail with our wayfinding efforts so young people can learn to find their way around the library and own the space as their own. We want to offer, of course, the classic story time. We want to implement an after-school program, which we believe would be one of the best ways to support families in our community. We would partner with local organizations to also provide a hot meal for our students. And this would also develop relations with other organizations in the community. As would Books and Barks, which would involve partnering with our local Humane Society so that kids can practice and develop confidence in reading aloud. And continuing on for our kids, Mr. Megabucks, we're asking you to help us to implement Eat, Play, Grow. This curriculum of art projects, storytelling, music, and movement activities has had proven success in improving children's health habits, and it's also just fun. Also, please consider funding our efforts to make an annual Young Adult Book Festival, bringing in panels of young adult authors and culminating at the end in a book blitz. And of course, throughout all this time, our kids' artwork will be prominently displayed to help them make the library their own. Another aspect of our holistic programming overhaul is cultural enrichment. We think it's important that the community come together and that the library prove its value at being the center of that. Petra already touched on this a bit, but programs we need your help to implement include One City, One Book, in which the whole community reads a book together, invites the author in to talk and discusses. History programs such as History Comes Alive in partnership with local museums, but also more hands-on programs such as a heritage seed library and a community garden. And we are asking for your help to make a world-class makerspace, such as the one pictured here, bottom right, of Entressa Library in Finland, in which patrons can work with anything from 3D printers to sewing machines to soldering irons. Finally, we round out our programming proposal with general community services. How can we be helpful to the vulnerable in our community and enable our citizens to be successful and just have an improved quality of life? We want to offer tax help, outreach and services to the unhoused, and programming for veterans. So what does all this look like budget-wise? We're looking at a grand total of $285,000 for robust programming at PAPAS Community Library. $195,000 of this is for a 3-year investment in a new programming librarian. $20,000 is for implementing various cultural enrichment programs. $50,000 is for a world-class makerspace, with another $20,000 for miscellaneous materials. With this investment, Mr. Megabucks, we envision PAPAS Community Library finally becoming the community center it should be. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Mr. Megabucks, you've reported that there are a number of safety concerns that need to be addressed. The parking lot is poorly located, and the lobby of the building looks like a deserted building. There's currently no staff member assigned to man the library's book detection device alarm. Public libraries should be welcoming. They shouldn't feel strict or intimidating, but it's impossible to deny the security risks associated with the space. The parking lot needs to be renovated, and it needs to be well lit and well maintained with clearly demarcated pathways to the library entrance. The outside of the building needs to be welcoming and easy to find. This can be accomplished by making sure the building is clearly marked and well lit. In order to make the library feel safe and inviting, there are a few key changes that need to be implemented in the lobby. Let's start by replacing the fluorescent lights with LED lights. You'll hear more about lighting from Stacy in a moment. The library lobby also needs a new front desk, new signage, lobby seating that is comfortable and inviting, and a new display for popular books. The library also needs a new book detection alarm system to help protect the library's collection, reduce the theft of material, and improve traffic control. The library also requires one staff member to police the library, monitor the cameras, and respond to the book detection alarm. With your investment of $165,000, we can accomplish our goal of maintaining a safe, secure, and welcoming facility.
Thank you, Angela. So let's talk a little bit about the lighting of our current facility. As you heard, we are having patrons that are sharing with us a concern that the library does not feel comfortable because of the lighting. We recommend an immediate lighting retrofit. Through this process, we will use the existing features that are already built into our library, refit them with ballasts and baffles to allow those same fluorescent tubes to be replaced with LED lighting. Through this process, we will have higher lumens using our existing features without any added construction disruption or cost. And because LED is a greener technology, we will have reduced impact on our landfills and a longer life for each of these bulbs. Additionally, the room will be better lit and feel warmer. We would do this lighting retrofit not only inside our facility, but in our parking lot as well. A better lit parking lot always feels safer for those people in our community with concerns about coming to our library after hours. We would reimagine that library foyer as a gallery, as mentioned in the robust and rich programming and partnership with local organizations and programs for the arts. We would use installed track lighting to draw attention to both children and adult art and creative projects. This would be a place to showcase our own creativity within our community. We would strategically replace switches with dimmers to allow for customized lighting within strategic stacks, allowing for comfort of our patrons and for some artistic displays. Outside of our study rooms, we would install some wall sconces that would not only have increased lighting in those areas, but also draw attention to them without the construction of needing to get inside the walls in order to install. We would allow for reading lamps on every table that would not only allow for customized lighting, but giving our patrons a place for personal device charging. The more that their own devices come into the library, the more familiar patrons are with their tools and the more willing they are to use our collection. We would create, through solar landscape lighting, a clear and artistic pathway going from that current parking lot to the front of our building. By doing so, we would encourage traffic flow and encourage people to come right up to our front doors. What does this mean? It's a total of $77,541. Through your investment in this one-time purchase, we would be able to, with a green approach, increase our visibility and safety within our library. Thank you. So what does this mean overall, Mr. Megabucks? We appreciate you taking the time to hear our presentation about ways that we as a community can partner. You shared with us your impressions of our library, but we didn't stop there. We engaged our patrons and our staff in a reflection of what they like about the PAPAS Community Library and what they would like to see different. We came together as a community, and together we built 4 goals to address improvement for our facility and to ensure continued growth. And together we will build a rich collection, both print and digital, for learning, creation, and discovery. We will develop a community center model for an organized sharing of ideas, information, and culture. And we will engage our community in robust programming. Finally, we will continue to focus our attention on maintenance of a safe, secure, and welcoming facility. Through these goals and through your generous investment, we will address our wayfinding, security and organization of our collection, our lighting, and our programming. We will encourage our community to come together in concert and in harmony and break bread. We will digitize the local archives. We will develop our collection to reflect our demographics, and we will upgrade that OPAC because, again, a wonderful collection is only wonderful if you can find what you're looking for. And we will create a space for our teenagers and young adults to have their own sense of community. Now, we know that budgets can be complicated, and we wanted you to know that we looked at this through the idea of technology, through the idea of collection development, through staffing investment, and through a need to upgrade our facilities. With your investment, the PAPAS Community Library will have a kickstart to our growth. With your 3-year investment, We will work with our current City Council to create sustainable funding to carry this one-time investment through our future. We will be able to sustain our ongoing programs and continue to grow in the way that our community and yourself have indicated that is important for us to grow. Your support is not only an investment in our library, and your $1,326,667 investment is an investment in our community. Thank you, and we look forward to this ongoing partnership. Thank you, Paula, Angela, and Petra for contributing to this presentation.